protecting Main Street from Wall Street. It's Chris Hoffman with Money Unleashed.
How much money do you put into your checking account from work on a month-to-month basis? It has a high probability that with your investable assets, we can replace that paycheck.
It's time to put you back in control of your money.
You've worked for 35 years. It's time for you to not stress. It's time for you to enjoy and live the retirement you want to live.
It's Money Unleashed with Chris Hoffman.
Welcome to the Money Unleashed podcast with Chris Hoffman. We've got another great discussion lined up for you today. Make sure you subscribe to Money Unleashed wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're ready to get in touch with the Hoffman Financial Group, it's as easy as dialing the number 404-341-6767. That's 404-341-6767. Or find us online at unleashyourmoney.com. With that said, let's jump into the show. And Chris, an anniversary of sorts happened recently. I dug this up doing my research for the show, and I'm not sure if a whole lot of people out there were observing this one. Did you know it has been 40 years since new Coke hit the shelves?
Wow.
And I think by now we all know how that whole thing turned out. Coca-Cola tried to fix something that wasn't broken. I think there's a saying about that. The backlash was immediate, and it was loud. And this case is still studied in marketing and PR classes in colleges. I know because I studied this when I was in school as well. And it's just kind of a perfect reminder that newer is not always better. So it got me wondering, what kinds of things that we see in the financial planning world where we can encounter those trendy or quick hit strategies that overpromise and underdeliver, and more to the point, that classic, steady, strategic approach really wins in the long run. So let me ask you, Chris, can we draw a parallel between the new Coke fiasco and the value of sticking with those time-tested financial planning?
I think we absolutely can, and I'll share with you. I was 17 years old, and my upbringing were cases of Coke were in the basement. My dad doesn't drink, so his vice was Coke, and not Diet Coke, regular Coke. And we had cases of them, and it was a panic at the Hoffman house when they announced new Coke. First of all, horrible marketing. Why would you call it new Coke versus just putting a different name on the end of it and keeping Coke Classic? And then they had to call it Coke Classic, and now it's just gone, right?
Yeah.
We're back to Coke. And there are countries out there that use real cane sugar. My wife's a big Coke drinker. When she finds that, she's like, give me one of those.
Oh, yeah.
So you could have come up with a variation of a new product and called it something else. I guess it was from competition from Pepsi.
Of course. The soda wars.
The soda wars, exactly. But so as it relates to the financial services industry, this is a clear comparison I'll make between somebody like Berkshire Hathaway and I'll just say all the big box firms. How about that? Most of the big box firms are chasing the shiny new penny. They want to catch the next Mag 7, and they're promising large returns, and they're impressing you with their design of their portfolios. And look, we do the same thing. We certainly have financial planners, and we build portfolios, and we rebalance them. But there is a clear and distinct difference in the way we do it, because we not only have Coke Classic, we've got Pepsi, RC. Is RC still around?
Yeah, Royal Crown Cola.
Crown.
That's a deep cut.
There you go. We've got RC and everything else. So there's nothing wrong with having multiple asset classes or multiple products out there for our clients, and we use them all in conjunction. One month you might have a taste for PepsiCo. The next month you may have a taste for Coke. Probably not the case, not the best analogy, but certainly Coke has diversified beverage products, right? Between water and Monster drink and. So they provide a full portfolio for it where you don't need to change the original formula on a working product. It would be like us saying to somebody, hey, we like this dividend stock portfolio you've got. It's giving you 3.5% dividends plus. It's showing an annual growth rate of X amount over the past 10 years. Sell out of it completely and move everything to the NASDAQ. That would not be something you would hear from our advisory team.
I feel like that's going from Coke to Pepsi. It could be jarring for somebody.
Yeah, and they're two total. They are both stock portfolios. I get that, and technically they're the same asset class. But boy, do they behave differently, right? When the market is skyrocketing upwards, they're not achieving those 30, 40% annual gains. But when the market corrects, they are more stabilized, in large part because they're highly capitalized companies, and also they're stabilized by the fact that they pay a dividend. So people rely on that for income. So if there is a worry about a pullback, naturally people go to this reaction. Back it all out into cash, put it into gold, give me something that has no market risk, versus just saying, hey, instead of us being heavy in the Mag 7 and the NASDAQ, why don't we edge back to good old-fashioned dividend stocks? It's a more conservative play, but there'll be less damage to the portfolio and there'll be income being generated. So you do need Coke Classic, and you need everything else that Coca-Cola offers its clients, from water to monster drinks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you've got to use it all in balance and not change the formula that works historically for you as an individual. Your formula may be different. Mm-hmm. You may love Coke Classic and hate all the other soft drink companies, or you may love PepsiCo and hate all the others. That's fine, but you've got to have the stalwart investment portfolios need to stay in your portfolio for an extended period of time for you to maximize what they're there for.
Yeah, and I think that one of the takeaways from this could be a lot like, building a brand. Building your wealth is about consistency, patience, and a plan that certainly works for you. And I think this is where working with the right advisor comes in, because they help you identify the strategies specifically for you. And the fundamentals may not always sound exciting, but they stand the test of time. And just like Coca-Cola eventually realized, and now we do have Coca-Cola Classic, sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to stay true to a solid recipe, right?
Yeah, and who would want to introduce new Coke, have that financial and marketing meltdown inside your portfolio and your financial life? We're not about that. So it's Coke Classic. It works. Build the portfolio. Yes, absolutely. It's going to be diversified by the individual or individual family we're talking to. Some of you are highly aggressive and want your equities to outperform every and all index metrics out there. That's fine. We'll take on that task. We'll take on that challenge to grow your money every year and to beat the benchmarks. Some others of you want to generate high levels of income and worry about reducing your tax burdens. We can do that as well. So, and there's strategy around what type of money we're talking about. Are we talking about pre-tax, tax-deferred money? Are we talking about Roth, tax-free money? Or are we talking about taxable money? So those are the variations of the products that we're talking about when we're building a Coke Classic type of bulletproof, for lack of a better word, portfolio for our clients.
There's a lot of noise out there. We've talked about it a ton on Money Unleashed here in 2025. We've been seeing some things that I'm sure have people's antenna up, if you will. So I guess for the listener out there who might consider themselves the average investor, could you tell us the difference between smart financial innovation, or maybe ending up in that latest new Coke movement, and how exactly you identify the right option?
Well, it could be fear of missing out, could get you over your skis with the new Coke analogy. It's, a lot of folks at a specific period of time were inquiring into Bitcoin. Now they're inquiring into, do we go back to gold? Or what are the other products out there? Or real estate, right? That's one that for years and years and years, everybody who called and came in for a first appointment review had substantial amount of rental properties. And we're not seeing that at such a fevered pitch anymore. So the seasons will change, and they'll also change by you as individuals or your family's needs. Some of you are familiar with real estate, have rental properties. You're very good at managing them. You actually don't mind managing those rental properties while you're in retirement. That can be a great revenue source for you for income for the rest of your life. Some of you are saying, I have too many rental properties and I don't want to deal with all of that in retirement. Do I hire a management company? Do I diversify and sell some of them? We can do all of that analysis with you and find that perfect place for you and your money and your portfolio and still satisfy your needs, which starts with income and retirement. So you have the ability to build it your way It can be your favorite fountain drink, but we're going to have multiple flavors of that fountain drink in front of you to take advantage of. It's also a matter of understanding what is available. I am shocked at how few investors fully understand how many diversified products and asset classes are available to them in retirement, which can be extremely powerful in preserving your capital, growing your money, generating income, and avoiding taxes. So that's what you hire a team like Hoffman Financial Group and our fiduciary financial advisors to do for you. We go on the clock, and we are fighting to get you as much income and as little taxation on that as possible. And we build a full financial plan to track it year over year, so you're not dealing with the emotional roller coaster that the stock market can give you. And we think that differentiates us in a large way from the big box firms out there.
And let me ask you this in terms of the choice that we have, and let me just continue the soda analogy because it's brought us this far, and I think it can take us home in this discussion. But Coca-Cola has a machine now that you see in restaurants called a Freestyle. And that, Chris, gives you the opportunity to have basically every flavor variation of every single product under their umbrella. Now, we talk about being diversified, but you can also end up being over-diversified. Just because you can put 7, 8, 12, 15 different things in the same cup doesn't mean you should.
So there's multiple reflections on the Coke Freestyle machine that I've seen. I've seen kids mix actual sodas, and they get that look on their face like, oops, that was a mistake. So we don't want to do that, right?
Yep. Root beer doesn't go there.
We have to have the right recipe for you as an individual. Now, I can tell you that I mix the Zero Fanta orange and fruit punch. It tastes great.
There you go.
If that works for you and you enjoy that drink, we can build that for you inside your portfolio. And no two families are going to have the same palette for their financial exposure, for their income levels, for their growth expectations, and or their tax situation and tax strategies that we need to deploy for them. Very individualized is what you're looking for from your financial advisory team. We'll do that for you, and we'll be accountable to reporting on it to you on a quarterly basis.
Well, if you're out there and you have sampled all of the different sodas, maybe you're just trying to figure out what the right recipe is, let me assure you that the time to take action is right now. If you've just been out there, more to the point, seeing all of the things that have been going on, hearing all of the noise, reading all of the headlines, and wondering, what exactly should I be doing here? Do I have the right mix in my portfolio? Is my financial plan constructed with all of the right components, built to last, built to be that classic recipe? There's one quick and easy way to find out. That's to pick up the phone and give Hoffman Financial Group that call today at 404-341-6767. It all starts with that portfolio x-ray. It's a complimentary service. Hoffman Financial Group will do one of these reports for you, and they typically uncover those valuable insights that can show you ways to optimize your accounts, and there's no cost whatsoever to get started with that, and it's the first step towards putting together that full and comprehensive financial plan. 404-341-6767 is that phone number, or you can sign up at unleashyourmoney.com. Just click on that box that says Portfolio X-Ray. Chris Hoffman is an investment advisor representative of Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor and affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and Hoffman Financial Group are affiliated under common ownership. Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosures of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV2A, page 4, for additional information. The Hoffman Financial Group and WSB are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. This information should not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the field of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Any client experiences discussed during the show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone. Index or fixed annuities are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV2A Item 4, for additional information. Hoffman Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Insurance licensed in Georgia, number 163546.